Hey, we reached a checkpoint, man. Yeah! Hey, listen. That's just the beginning. That's just a checkpoint. That ain't the mountaintop. That's one checkpoint. Here we go.
Welcome to Flames Central Game Day on the campus of Liberty University, brought to you by Earthright Mid-Atlantic, solar and energy efficiency. Well, the buses are here, and the Flames taking on the Blue Raiders today at Williams Stadium. They are ready to go. Fans are piling into the bill for midweek on the mountain. Once again, Rhett McGibbon here alongside Pat Kelly, Joe Yock.
Who's getting off that bus first?
Who was that guy?
The punter getting off the bus first?
That was the golfing team, guys.
Come on, you got to get your bus orders squared away. You need Candy Charles. You need some big bodies getting off. You got to hold the intimidation factor.
You need the buffet boys coming off first, right?
Coming off.
Just looking angry.
It's a punter.
I'm with it. Yeah, you need the intimidation factor.
Yes,
I'm with you.
100%.
Yeah, you got the dad watching, coming off and like calling up his son, like, man, they got some big dudes on. I'm telling you. I'm watching. Hey, lots to get to on the show today. Xavier Gatlin's going to be joining us on our field pass. That's going to be great. We're going to dive into Kobe Singleton as well. Talk about him. Hey, NASCAR's joining us too.
Let's go.
Your guy.
Let's
Your
go.
guy. William
Byron, baby, the 24 Liberty University car.
Are you a fan?
Oh, I'm a huge fan. He's my #1 guy.
Really? Okay.
You kidding me?
Do you do like
rolling up W's?
Do you do fantasy in like NASCAR? Are you that in depth?
Not that.
No. Okay. All right. Well, hey. That's pretty good, though.
No, that's great. Got a chance to meet him a couple times.
Right,
so excited to have him on. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's a big guest, Rhett McGibbon. That ain't no small potato guest. I mean, that's the real deal right there. This guy's getting ready to win the whole thing.
Yeah, #2 right now.
#2 right now. He's going to win the whole shebang.
I like it. He's going to be joining us about 45 after the hour, so make sure you turn in then to hear from William Byron. But let's talk about checkpoint is reached. You heard Coach Chadwell say it. The Flames going bowling once again. Now, let's go back 5 years ago. Flames moving up to FBS level. If I had told you, hey, Pat Kelly, in the future, 5 years from now, Flames are going to be going bowling 5 straight years, what would you say?
I'm picturing it through the lens of when I finished playing in 2012, when the stadium wasn't this big. My first reaction would be, no, we were not at a point. We were not ready. The roster wasn't at a point that we were ready. I would say, no, there's no way that we're going to a bowl game, much less 5 bowl games in a row.
Yeah, but when you spin ahead and you look at that first Old Dominion game when Buckshot Calvert led him down the field and hit DJ Stubbs for the first FBS touchdown. Matt Warner on the call for that one.
You remember that call?
Oh, yeah, it was great. Unbelievable.
Welcome to the FBS.
Welcome to the FBS. I remember that. And so you saw the complete commitment by the players, the coaches, the administration, the budget, everything across the board. We're not going to talk about the budget because we don't want Coach Rodriguez to hear anything about the budget. That's a little inside joke for you guys who know that joke. So they had the total commitment to football, the total commitment to going to those balls. So it didn't shock me whatsoever.
Do you guys enjoy bowl predictions? You get into it much? I know it's early.
Go ahead. Let the cat out of the bag.
Gasparilla Bowl.
Let the cat out of the bag.
They are claiming Liberty versus
You ready for this?
Auburn, potentially.
It's a freeze warning.
Yeah. Some might say that would be huge. It's dad jokes, guys. I'm a new dad, okay?
Jokes, yeah.
I like the possibilities of this, though. How fun would that be?
Oh, my goodness. Could you imagine after Coach Freeze being – and all credit to Coach Freeze. He did a phenomenal job here at Liberty and had the opportunity to go back to the SEC. But could you imagine having Jamie Chadwell squaring off against Hugh Freeze, Liberty versus Auburn? That wouldn't be anything better than that.
It would be fantastic. Auburn right now 3-2, I believe, on the year, so still seeking.
They got a long road to haul.
They do. They do. A lot to be done, but it's in the possibilities, they are saying. All right, great that the Flames are bowl eligible, but there has been a letdown in the previous years after they win. After they reach win number 6, we go to 2021. That season, after getting that 6th win, the Flames go 1-3. Afterwards, losses to Ole Miss, Louisiana, and Army. That was the year which Malik Willis got a little bit of a shoving match at the end of the Army game. Frustration was starting to mount, but then they go on and win the Lending Tree Bowl. You head to 2022. They go 2-3 after win number 6. Losses to UConn, Tech, that ugly one to New Mexico State. Now, there were some other factors involved with that. This is Pat Kelly will let you know, but they do lose in the Boca Raton Bowl. You move to this season. You're sitting 6-0. Things are looking pretty. Today you have Middle Tennessee State. Next week, Western Kentucky, LA Tech, and Old Dominion. UMass coming up after that as well.
Yeah, I'm really fired up for the upcoming slate of games here. I mean, they're really stepping into the gauntlet of their schedule. But talking about 2021, they ran into a buzzsaw at the end. In an Ole Miss team, they were overmatched. You're playing Louisiana, they were still overmatched in that one. The roster not fully developed. So I think they're sitting really pretty right now. These are going to be some really exciting final games in the season.
Yeah, and it's a different animal now. I mean, you're looking at a team that the only goal they had was to get bowl eligible. Yeah. So once you got there, you took that breath and like, oh, we made it. Now you're in a conference. Now you got to play Western Kentucky and then potentially have the opportunity to play them again for a conference championship. And then you even look further down the road than that. You're trying to chase that conference championship. Well, guess what? That 12-team college football playoff comes into play in the next year. So there's so much. It's such a different animal than what it was before.
Yeah, sticking with the Conference USA Championship, let's take a look at the standings currently in Conference USA. Liberty atop of the pack, WKU 2-0. Jacksonville State not eligible for a conference championship this year, but sitting at 3-1. New Mexico State at 2-1. Everybody's saying it's Liberty and WKU to lose right now. I know Matt Warner.
Matt Warner has already said it's a foregone conclusion. This thing's over. It's going to be Liberty, WKU in that championship, Matt. I'm not saying so fast yet. There's still some things that can happen, but they are definitely the two front runners.
Yeah, I'm going to call Matt out. Don't be the hype guy just yet. Don't let them read their own press clippings. Let's knock out these next several games. But yeah, it's certainly a lot to look forward to.
He likes to do the math, though, and the math is in his favor.
Yeah, they're definitely in their favor. Well, last week, Flames staying perfect in conference play. Tough matchup for them, taking on Jacksonville State away from the Bill. A huge one. A lot of people had that game last week marked as a loss for Liberty, but they came away victorious after a slow start.
Yeah, they really did. I was nervous to kick that game off because we've seen a Liberty offense that all season long really hasn't gone 3 and out all that much. They started the first 2 drives going 3 and out. I was just really impressed with the resolve from the team, the ability to kind of keep things together and really put together a complete game.
Yeah, I think what Liberty did is after they sort of found their sea legs in that game, Jacksonville came out very fired up, obviously, is they got the inside run game going with Quentin Cooley. Once that happened, it started bringing those backers out. They attacked the edges to the outside, which brought the secondary up, and then they started working their play action game, which they were able to hit the deep balls to Trayon Sibley, the one to Bedgood for a touchdown, and it's the explosive plays being set up that made the difference in that football game.
Yeah, a lot of eyes on the passing game last week, but when we look at this Liberty team and their ability to compete on the road, and they've done well in that regard so far this season, how important is the run game? And I know a lot of people just have eyes on Quentin Cooley right now, but Billy Lucas too. These are guys that are...
It's Billy Coolhand Lucas.
I'm sorry, yeah, I forgot the middle
your names
name.
right.
And like his mama, Billy Coolhand. But no, this is a group with Bedgood as well that's kind of a hybrid style right now. How huge is that for Liberty on the road when you just want to eat up that clock and the fact that you can run and get first down after first down?
Yeah, I think it's really important because this whole offense starts with being able to run the ball tackle to tackle. And that's where Bill Durkin has come in and done a great job with the offensive line, getting up to the second levels, getting that inside run game going. So a guy like Quentin Cooley right now, you're starting to see his season progress, and he's a potential 1,000-yard rusher. Yeah. Then when you take a guy, I mean, Bedgood was working there, Bedgood was working at the State Farm. You take a guy off the State Farm, get him out of his khaki pants, put a football uniform on him, and now he's starting to realize, hey, man, I can be pretty good in this offense again. And they're attacking him with the edges, then be able to use him downfield in the passing game. They're starting to get the full complement of players.
Who was it on the Bills the other night that was working? I don't know, he's like straight off the couch. Did you hear about that?
It was, I think it was David Pugh.
Yeah, that's right. David Pugh
was the
straight off
for
the couch.
For the Giants.
Yeah, that was great stuff. Continuing on, Middle Tennessee, all right? A lot of eyes, obviously, this week. This is a team. You look at the record, you're probably thinking this should be an easy win for the Flames, but pump the brakes just for a sec. They lost to Alabama. They lost to Mizzou. They were in a really tight game against Jacksonville State that they probably should have won, but a couple turnovers late really hurt them. What kind of animal are we messing with today if you're a Flames fan?
I think we're messing with a really athletic team, one of the most athletic that they've played all year, maybe second to Jacksonville State. I mean, they've got freaks all over the place. From an offensive perspective, they've got 4 receivers that can beat you. You've got a guy that can run past you. He can make you miss. They've got guys that can go up over you as a basketball player. And then we'll see defensively tonight. I think they've got some dogs on that D-line.
Yeah, I agree with Pat. The athleticism on the D-line, now they're a little bit banged up on the D-line, but the athleticism there, middle line, linebacker in the secondary. And then you got a quarterback that's got a really good release and knows how to distribute the ball. I mean, you start looking around at how many catches each of these receivers are getting, how well they distribute. That makes it very, very difficult to defend.
You're looking forward to watching some Nick Vattiato.
Nicky V.
I had some great Vattiato pasta last night, and it was wonderful.
Man, eat your pasta, Patrick. Eat your pasta.
This is a team that, as you mentioned, lots of weapons throughout the area. You see Holden right there just coming down with the ball, and a long run for him, a strong guy. Continuing with this topic as we look into our Century Exterior scouting report and this air attack, is this the most lethal unit through the air Liberty is going to face this season?
I tend to think yes. We talked about this before we came on camera, but if you take Alabama and Missouri off of the games that they've played so far, this offense is averaging over 300 passing yards a game, which is good for 15th in the country in passing yards. So, yeah, I mean, you take two SEC powers out of there, and it's a lethal offense.
Yeah, I mean, nice stat, by the way. I like that. I like that a lot because it's very true. And the thing with Metcalf is even though he's small, he's got that as Liberty has the DeMario Douglas that plays for the Patriots now. He reminds me of him a little bit. And that's the kind of guy that if you want to play cover zero or command across the board and blitz people, he'll beat you right up the middle. So with all those different receivers and the different traits that they bring to the game, they're going to be difficult to defend. It's going to be very interesting to see how Liberty chooses to defend them.
Yeah, you saw Olsen there just a second ago as well with a nice athletic play on the hurdle. He's good at blocking as well downfield. The guy I want to focus on, though, Holden Willis. Obviously, receptions galore. He's the safety net, and the yards are high. In previous years, Liberty has had trouble with tight ends. They just kind of sneak away in those big body receivers. Now, he's more of a hybrid style player, but could you see him giving fits to the Liberty defensive backs today just with his capabilities and strength?
I mean, I think anytime you have a guy that's 6'4", almost 220 pounds, that's going to be a mismatch out there. And he reminds me of a basketball player. If we can just put it at his shoulder, if we can just put it on one of those paws, I mean, I think that's a tremendous advantage. So I think it could give Liberty some matchup problems.
Yeah, and then you look at that distribution. I mean, look at the catches, look at the yards. They're all the same. It's like, okay, so you want to choose to bracket one guy. We're just going to go over here. They have so much depth at the wide receiver position. And then Nicky V, the way he's able to distribute it around. I mean, it is very, it's going to be very, don't sleep on these guys. It's going to be very difficult for Liberty to defend.
Yeah, all right, speaking of Liberty's defensive unit, the air defense been great this season so far. Liberty leading the nation in picks, and I'll be honest, I don't think anybody saw this coming into this year that the secondary was going to be as deadly as they have been.
Yeah, I mean, I think, not just the secondary. Tyron Dupree is very good from the linebacker position, but in the secondary, you look at Kobe Singleton and you look at Brylan Green, just those two guys alone. Brylan Green's an NFL type of player. I mean, he has that type of athleticism. And then, as I've said many times, Kobe Singleton's just a D to the A to the W to the G. He's just a dog. And I mean, they went after him against Sam Houston State. He broke up 3 in a row. So this secondary leading the nation, and a lot of that starts with up front. There's that last play at the end of the game. No panic, made it look easy. This secondary is the real deal for Liberty University.
What is it, though? Is it scheme or is it athlete? Because when you look at this, I'm going back and I have Jacob Hagan written on my sheet here. He had 8 picks, years back for Liberty, and he was a real skilled individual. But again, this was the secondary that people were kind of like, how is it going to be going into this season? Where would you put that?
There's an old adage, you've got the Jimmies and the Joes and the X's and the O's, meaning Jimmies and Joes, you've got great athletes. X's and O's, you scheme it up more so to the coaching. I think it's a mix of the two, but honestly, I think it's a tremendous secondary. So if I'm picking, I'm saying it's the Jimmies and the Joes out there over the scheme.
Yeah, but a lot of that has to do, and I agree 100%, but a lot of that has to do with how well coached they are. You look at some of the picks, for example, the pick that Kobe Singleton had against Jacksonville State. That wasn't his pick. He was playing cover 3. He comes off his cover 3 area, able to get back in the hash just by reading the quarterback's eyes. And so that's a lot of really good coaching by Liberty. And then, like Pat's saying, you take the athletes are always going to be the ones you want. It's hard. There's good athletes can make the coaches look great. And so, yeah, I think that obviously is the biggest difference.
One question I have, Liberty is limited on sacks this season. We've seen that's been their bread and butter over the past few years. Are they getting enough push up front? Is that the reason why they're getting so many interceptions? Is that quarterback hurries, I guess you could call it? Are they getting that much pressure on the quarterback to throw them off their game just a tidge?
I think what they do is they do a good job of mixing it up.
Okay.
Right? I think that is what, for a quarterback, when you see a lot of disguised looks, a lot of different types of blitzes. Are we bringing a 3-man pressure? We're going to drop 8 and make you throw into small windows. Are we just going to play 4, right? And bring 4. Then at the same time, then we start mixing up inside blitzes. So I think that's where the Liberty defensive schemes, and then having the other thing that does a really good job with a guy like Tyron Dupree, when you have really athletic linebackers in pass coverage, that can make a big difference, and it has made a big difference. It allows you to do a lot of different things.
All right, time to turn our attention now to our field pass presented by Jim Miller Realty. And joining us now, Xavier Gatlin. Xavier, this is a Liberty team that's had a lot of talk about your running back in Cooley and also your man K-Salt, but give me a few moments here and brag on your offensive line and how well they've been this season.
Hey, man, the only really thing I can say about it is that we come to work every single day, and we just try to protect the guys behind us. When you got backs that are that good, that can get to the second level and make guys miss, all you got to do is put them in position. And I feel like we've been doing a good job of that. We're going to keep trying to do that today.
Xavier, give me your dream scenario here. If you have 2 different plays, if you're a pulling guard, you're making your way out, you get to totally blindside somebody, put him on his butt, or do you like to engage a guy from the very beginning, drive him 10 yards downfield, and just pin him into the turf? Which one do you like better?
Hey, man, there's nothing better as an offensive lineman than taking a guy from point A to point B against his will. But
just
whatever gets his job done, that's what I like.
I love it. So Xavier, with that being said, you're looking mean, you're looking lean, you're looking fast, and you're looking strong right now. Well, so with that being said, how many pancakes are we getting out of you tonight? How many are we serving up?
The only thing that's guaranteed in this life is death, taxes, and the Flames gonna give everything they have. So I can't guarantee pancakes, but I guarantee you we're gonna put on the show tonight.
I love it. Love it. All right, X, before we let you go, I know that you're a singer. What's been your go-to here lately, and can you leave us with a few bars?
I think you lost them both.
That's all right. All good. All good. Good times. Good to hear from Max, and man of many talents. You're going to give us something
for you.
All right.
Like, oh, no, just
All right, once again, that was our field pass presented by Carl Miller Realty. Good to hear from Xavier down on the field. And that O-line this year has been getting stuff done for LU. We'll touch on that more in a little bit with Matt Warner joining us. And Matt Warner actually standing by right now with Coach Stockstill.
Hey, Coach, your quarterback has been slinging it here of late, about 300 yards per game over the last 5. What's been clicking for him? How do you find success against an opportunistic Liberty defense tonight?
Well, I think Nick's playing a little bit better. Did a lot better job last week against La Tech of protecting the ball. And so if we do that, you give yourself a chance. So he's getting more comfortable. It's his first year starting. But I'm really proud of Nick and the toughness that he's shown here this season so far.
You guys have been pretty good at stopping the run this season. Is that the biggest matchup in this game, your run defense against Liberty's rush attack?
Well, that's what they want to do. They want to run the ball, and they're really good at it. We're beat up pretty good in the defensive line, so it's going to be a struggle tonight. But for us to have a chance, that's what we got to do. We got to stop the run because that's what they're going to try to do.
Coach, good luck tonight. Appreciate the time.
Yeah, thank you, man. Appreciate you.
Yeah, formidable matchup for the Blue Raiders. Obviously, with a depleted defensive line, Liberty will look to take advantage of that. But how about Coach Stockstill? This is a guy that's been with the Blue Raiders for 18 seasons. That's amazing in itself, the way that college athletics works today.
Well, and it's not like he's coaching at like a Glenville State or the Mary Baldwin College. I mean, he's been several places, UCF, Clemson, South Carolina. So he's been at some premier programs. He's seen how it's done at a big level, and he's taken it to this team as well.
Yeah, he's a really good football coach. I mean, he's been there a long time. He's a good football coach. He's had a lot of success there. They built a nice program. I think they can be extremely competitive. They've been competitive, had some major upsets of some teams. So, yeah, he's done a really good job there.
Yeah, you're in a good market, too. Like, you can bring in guys from, in the surrounding Tennessee area. Yeah. Fantastic for him. All right, you heard him talk about his quarterback, and this is a guy we want to focus on as well. Nick Vattiato, Nicky V. We were calling him earlier as we look now in our Freedom First inside the numbers. And this young man, he can spread it around, but if you let him get outside the pocket, he has some wheels as well.
Yeah, I think we're going to see that tonight. He does does use his legs super well. I think that's probably what impresses me most about his game is when things break down, when there's chaos around him, he's able to use his legs, keep plays alive. You see him scrambling here, and then finding guys open downfield with pretty good accuracy.
Yeah, they do a really good job with him in terms of allowing him at times to throw from the pocket, but then at the same time, they also move him, just like you're saying, Pat. And I tell you what, he gets underrated for how well he does in the pocket of going through his progressions. And it's much easier to go through your progressions and not get locked on one guy when you can distribute that ball to a lot of different good receivers.
When you look at the quarterbacks, I know everybody's talking about Austin Reed and Kaden Salter being another one, but Vatti, is he kind of sneaking in that area, the dark horse, when you talk about the formidable quarterbacks in this conference?
Yeah, and I think Pat said it best. It's like you take the big games out of the
you're SEC contest.
You're going up against Alabama. You're not going to put up great stats against an Alabama, but you've seen them settle in very well in those last 3 games, passing for over 300 yards a game. So they're just finding their stride right now. And like I said, for all the weapons that they have available to him, he does a really good job not running but also distributing the football.
Yeah, I mean, I think this guy, the numbers speak for themselves. I think he's the leading passer in Conference USA right now. He also leads in completion percentage. Right. So I think we're going to see a lot of completions tonight. So, I mean, I don't even call him a dark horse. I mean, he is one of the best quarterbacks in this league.
And it makes it so difficult because how do you defend him? What do you got to come up with a defensive scheme on what you're going to do. And so that'll keep a defensive coordinator. When a guy has a high completion rate, okay, then you start thinking to yourself, okay, what's the next step? He's going to complete a lot of passes. Then you got to win in the red zone. So you may see a lot of that tonight. Sometimes they move the ball 20-20, but you got to find a way defensively to win inside that red zone.
Yeah, he's going to be a lot of fun to watch tonight as the Flames taking on the Blue Raiders. Coach Chadwell obviously going to have his hands full, and he's standing by with Matt Warner.
Well, Coach, this Middle Tennessee quarterback's been awfully explosive of late. Do you feel like he's the most dangerous QB you faced this year, and how critical is it to get some pressure on him tonight?
Well, it's very critical. He's by far the best quarterback we've seen, and they have the best set of skill we've seen. So our challenge is to try to make him one-dimensional. We can't let him get outside the pocket. That's where he's made some big plays, but we've definitely got to do a good job of containing their skill guys.
Quentin Cooley carried it 28 times last week. Can you ride him like that again tonight if necessary, or do you hope or expect that it'll be a little bit more balanced in the run game?
Well, if the result ends up the way it did, we'll run him 40 if we have to. But I think you got to be smart. You don't want to wear him down. Obviously, last week, because of injuries and some of those things, we had to run him a little bit more probably than we wanted to. But he got stronger. I hope we have more balance this week. But whatever it takes for us to get the W, we'll figure out.
Appreciate it, Coach. Good luck.
Thank you.
Joe, talk to me about the grind that it's been here lately. Obviously, you're going against Jacksonville State. You're getting used to playing midweek games. You're traveling a lot. Yeah. They're packed in there. You was talking about people being healthy. How tough is it right now for not only Liberty, but every single football team in CUSA?
I mean, it's tough in October, but if I'm coaching these guys, here's what I tell you. I'll tell you right now, okay? Everybody's got an excuse, okay? So are you hurt? Right? Do you just hurt a little bit, or are you injured? If you're injured, all right, we got to get you out. But if you're hurt, you know what? Get in the cold tub, get in the hot tub, stretch it out, and let's go play football. We let everybody else worry about their little, we're on a short week and blah, 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 blah. Bottom line is you get up, you go in between, you put your foot across the line. Once you put the foot across the line, the light switch is on, and it's time to play ball. I don't care how much time it's been. Let's just go compete.
Pat, focus on me. This cold tub thing, really quick, starting to make me nervous. Do you have an affinity for the cold tub like Joe does?
The saying used to be you can't make the club in the tub, but that's if you're hurt. I was that whole diatribe from Joe just now. I'm having flashbacks of Danny Rocco saying the same thing to me. Are you hurt? Are you injured? And I didn't know what to say, so I was like, I'm just hurt. And then you go back out there.
Play.
Just get out there and go
play.
Out there and go play. That's right.
It's suck it up time.
That's right. You and Reggie a couple weeks ago, your guys' fond memories of the cold tub starting to give me cold sweats. I was getting nervous there for a few. All right, couple special cornerbacks in this game today. Tyrell Raby, Memphis transfer, now a Middle Tennessee, really has just started to come into his own because he's redshirted the past few years, didn't play a game last year, and now in the previous 3 games, he has really started to shine bright.
Hey, he's a guy from Baton Rouge. You guys know I'm a New Orleans guy. As they say, laissez les bon temps rouler. I love this
no
guy.
No idea what that means.
let the good times roll.
Oh, let the good times roll. I know what that means.
Ça c'est bien. Ça c'est bien.
5 pass breakups this year. He's got an interception. I think he's a guy that could give someone fits, from Liberty's perspective on the outside there.
And then here's the matchup. Our boy Kobe Singleton. Again, this is another player, cornerback, a veteran on this Flames team, but he is coming to his own. Here's the matchup between the two. The breakup similar, interceptions well in favor of Singleton, but you're going to have to be careful as a quarterback throwing into their areas.
Yeah, I mean, both those guys are not just tremendous athletes, but especially I know much more about Kobe Singleton. He's a technician. I mean, his ability to not panic. A good corner doesn't panic. There's a cover 3 play right there, but that's not even his play. He's got a third, and he reads the quarterback's eyes, falls off, and makes the interception. So, I mean, Kobe Singleton has natural instincts. He's also has the athleticism. Nice breakup. They go at him 3 times in a row down to win the whole ball game. This is for all the marbles right here. No panic right here. Hand in between, knock it out, and they like to say, ball game, shut him down, baby.
Shut them down.
Shut them down.
Red, I think what impresses me most about this is, though, his pass breakups are not against, water lilies. I mean, the game's on the line. This is the biggest moment of the game, and he steps up when the moment's required. So that's what I love most about him.
Put that finger up.
Yeah, I did.
That means no, sir.
Right. Dikembe Mutombo?
No, so not my house. Not my Hizzy Rhett McGibbon.
Was that a game changer for his season? You look at that, he let a touchdown in earlier in the game.
Yeah.
If they had caught another one on him in those late stages, is that one of those moments in the year that can, change your trajectory?
Well, what it does, it says a lot about him as a person. Yeah. I mean, that's where the good corners are at. Well, guess what? He got beat for the first touchdown to start the game. He didn't put his head in the sand. He came out, he kept competing, and then they disrespected him by coming at him 3 times in a row. And so just what does that say about his mental toughness? Not just as an athlete, what kind of athlete, what kind of football player is that in between the ears, he has the moxie to play the corner position. And so his mental toughness is what really shown through that. So it's only going to build and give him more confidence as the season progresses.
Yeah, I guarantee you that as this alpha type A personality, he got beat once and he wasn't on the sideline, like you said, sulking. It's let's get back out there, throw at me again, and throw at me again, and throw at me again. And they did.
And remember, he had the pass interference call right before that. That kept that drive alive. Yeah. Wasn't a pass interference. Terrible call. Absolutely terrible. Terrible call. Terrible call.
It was bad. Well, hey, I hope you're having fun at home because Yacht Talk's got still half a tank left. This guy
it's 3/4. At least 3/4.
Rolling right now. But hey, still to come, Emily Austin joins us and talks to Chris Venini about Conference USA.
Oh, they're bringing Venini back.
That's right.
Venini.
Going to name their segment Impact Players. Matt Warner visit once again to chat about the Liberty O-line. This and more when Flame Central Game Day returns.
William Byron's gonna win. William Byron wins it at Atlanta. Hugs that white line, drifts up and comes to the line. Wins it.
Liberty is hosting its annual Giving Day, and you can be a part of opening up new possibilities for students.
When you give on Flames Giving Day, you're investing in dreams and empowering students to change the world for Christ. Giving is easy. Just visit liberty.edu/Giving Day and select where you'd like to give. Whether you're passionate about scholarships, specific academic departments, athletic programs, or just want to contribute to the greatest need, you have the power to direct your support where it matters most.
Many of our students depend on funding from sources like Giving Day to achieve their goals in life and education at Liberty.
Your contribution could be the determining factor in shaping a student's future and unlocking their potential.
So whether you're a Liberty parent, alumni, or you just love the mission of Liberty University, giving is a great way to help train champions for Christ, and together we can fuel the fire on Giving Day.
Well, welcome back to Flame Central Game Day. You see Liberty there around the logo, right, the 50-yard line, getting ready for this game today as they take on the Middle Tennessee Blue Raiders. Well, hey, this has been quite the contest, quite the week, and a lot going on in Conference USA. As we mentioned earlier, about midway point through the conference schedule, a lot of people think it's Western Kentucky versus Liberty. Is there a dark horse in the mix? We don't know. We went to our athletic insider, Chris Venini. He's standing by with Emily Austin.
Hey, thanks, guys. Back here in studio halfway through our party in the CUSA. That's where we will bring in our favorite guest, Chris Venini, senior writer at The Athletic. Chris, thanks so much for joining us. How you doing?
Good to be here. I was at Washington, Oregon over the weekend, so I am pretty tired as well from a crazy game and long travel, but week 8 already. I can't believe it.
I know. Arguably a better matchup tonight with Middle Tennessee at Liberty. No, I'm just joking. But that must have been a great environment. You know, when you look at these midweek games, how have you liked them?
I've enjoyed having them on television. I mean, we don't normally get October midweek games. It's usually in November in the MAC and the Sun Belt, and it's really cold outside and all these different things. But, you know, there have been some good crowds at Liberty for midweek games. So I think it's been good for Conference USA, this new TV deal being on the ESPN networks and CBS Sports Network, to get a lot of attention on games that otherwise weren't getting them. So I think it's been a big success for Conference USA in terms of what they wanted to get out of having the October midweek games.
Yeah, I mean, you can't complain. If football's on, you know, we're all happy. Like you said, heading into week 8, at this point in the season, who is your Conference USA MVP?
I'm torn between Austin Reed at Western Kentucky. The quarterback obviously has put up great numbers all season long, but also Quentin Cooley, the running back from Liberty, who has quietly, I think, been one of the better running backs in the country. He's had, 4 or 5 100-yard games over the past month plus. He's really kind of shouldering a lot of that offense, while the passing offense has kind of been hit or miss depending on the week. So I think he's definitely in the conversation as well. Liberty and Western Kentucky have been the class of the conference so far, and I think those two players have kind of shouldered a lot of that for their respective offenses.
You didn't mention Liberty quarterback Kaden Salter, who's put up some pretty decent numbers. He's at 20 total touchdowns for Liberty through 6 games. When you look at a former Liberty quarterback, Malik Willis, he had a program record 40 total touchdowns back in 2021. Do you think Kaden Salter has the potential to be a better quarterback at the college level than Malik Willis?
I wouldn't say better, but Salter can certainly break that mark of 40 touchdowns. If they play in the conference championship game plus a bowl game, you're talking potentially 14 games. And we know that in this offense that Jamie Chadwell likes to run, the quarterback scores a lot of touchdowns. And Salter has been, efficiency depends on the week, but he's gotten the scores. He's gotten in the end zone, on the ground, through the air. And that's why Liberty is 6-0 to this point. So he could certainly break that mark for sure. I don't know if I'd say he's better than Malik Willis at that point. And I say that mostly because Malik Willis was a really, really good college quarterback.
Absolutely. Okay, another big-time game going on tonight, Western Kentucky at Jack State. We want to remind our viewers, the Gamecocks cannot compete for a CUSA championship this season. That's an argument and a discussion for an entirely different day. However, Chris, what do you think this game means for Jack State? That, hey, we might not be able to play in that conference championship game, but we belong in it.
Yeah, well, that, and also Jacksonville State can still technically make a bowl game. It's the same situation as James Madison, where if there aren't enough 6-6 teams, then those second-year FCS transitioning teams, if they're bowl eligible, are next up in line. So Jacksonville State's got that to compete for sure. They've got to compete for, this was one of the best teams in the conference, and you want to win, and just simply you want to win games anytime you go out there. Jacksonville State, despite the loss to Liberty last week, has been a lot better than I expected, than I think a lot of other people expected, and you continue to ride that, I don't know, disrespect, but just kind of to prove you belong, to prove you're one of the best teams in this conference, and then you can say, hey, we should have played in the championship game, we should have done this for that, and they're just not letting us in. So tons for Jacksonville State to play for, none more than simply trying to bounce back from the loss last week.
Yeah, a lot of football still to be played for every team in this conference, but like you said at the beginning of the season, Western Kentucky and Liberty will most likely be those 2 top teams competing for a championship. What are the odds that there's another team in that discussion, and if so, who is it?
Well, when you only have 9 teams in your conference and 2 of them aren't eligible for the championship game, and that means you've got a pool of 7. And the only other one I think at this point that could have a chance to get into the championship game would be New Mexico State. They've only got 1 conference loss at this point. Everybody else has 2 or more already. But we came into the year feeling it was a high likelihood that Liberty and Western Kentucky would play for that conference championship. And 7 weeks into the season, nothing has really changed my mind from that point, or anybody's mind from that point. They're still undefeated in conference play. New Mexico State's probably the only other team that's got a real shot. And then since I'm on here, I had to follow up on a couple weeks ago. Liberty is now in my Group 5 top 10. They're in the top 40 in my 133 rankings that came out on Monday. I said if they beat Jacksonville State, things would change. They did.
Look at that. See, Chris Venini following up on his word. It just took a little bit of peer pressure from us here on the mountain. Chris, thanks for being such a great sport and a guest each and every week. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
All right, guys, we'll send it back out to you.
Thanks, Emily. I think Chris got one look at the gun show over there, Yak, that you're bringing on. Got a little nervous.
Yeah, he don't mess with that.
No.
He's a man of the people. That's what it is. A man of the people.
For the Flames.
One thing I wanted to say, K-Salt not on his list of people potentially MVP of Conference USA, and this is a guy that just got named to the Manning Award watch list today. Surprised at all?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, Cooley's a great pick. So, I can't go against Chris on that.
Yeah.
Cooley's on pace to have a 1,000-yard season, and he's right. Just like I've always said, is like what Quentin Cooley does by running the ball in between tackles makes a big difference. But Kaden Salter has had a really good season so far, and this offense fits him so well. It allows him to hit the drop back pass, allows him to use his legs in the option game. When it all breaks down, he can scramble. So this is an offense set up for him. I agree with Chris. It doesn't necessarily he's a better college football player than Malik Willis, but this offense is so tailored towards him that it can allow him to put up some massive numbers.
Yeah, what I would say about Salter is, his stock is just going like this, right? He's continuing to progress. He's maturing more in this offense. What I love the most is he's taking care of the ball. 2 interceptions this season. At this point last year, I want to say there were 9.
Oh, yeah.
So he's doing a terrific job.
Yeah, and talking to Willie Corn, the offensive coordinator, one of the best attributes that Kaden Salter has, and I think that this is where, from when they first got here, from this new staff first got here to where they are now, it's like a switch finally went off in his head, and he decided, you know what? I don't want to just be good. I want to be great. And I think he's very hard on himself. He wants to be coached hard, and he has high expectations for himself. So with that being said, when you talk to Willie Corn about Kaden Salter, you say this is a guy who's hungry to get better. He's not just reading the newspaper clippings. He wants to be the best that he possibly can be.
All right, it's time to dive now into our impact players presented by Segra. And when we look at the Blue Raiders, their running back doesn't get a ton of love, but this is a guy with a lot of talent, Jaden Krettel.
Yeah, averaging over 5 or almost 5.5 yards a carry in a run game that has struggled. He is the one bright spot, I think. He's got the ability to bust it. He's got a long on the season of 71 yards. Also catches the ball pretty well out of the backfield. 14 catches for 103 yards on the season.
And as we move on, their safety, Trey Llewellyn. When I was looking at the tape on this guy and through the week, just watching this team, at first I didn't have him as an impact player, but then seeing his ability to run stop, the way he stayed in pursuit, this guy is a dog as well. And he's nasty. He's nasty back there.
Yeah, he runs, and then the other thing he can do is he closes. He's physical. He can run, get physical in space, and able to close, and tackles very well in space.
Here's a pick here coming against Louisiana Tech just last week. Sealed the victory for him. 46 tackles on the season for Trey, and a secondary that's going to be tested again today by the Liberty Flames. Quentin Cooley for LU, one of their impact players. Yeah, that's right. You just heard Venini say potential as CUSA MVP, and he has been everything and more that Liberty could have hoped for when he transferred in from Wake Forest.
Well, I know Joe loves names. I think this guy needs to be Quentin the Bell Cow Cooley. Like we said, 28 carries last week. 6 yards per carry. This dude is a bell cow.
Matt Warner and Emily Austin are really pushing for the Liberty fans when he carries along. Cooley, they need to do that. Get that going, Rhett McGimmon.
What about some cowbells? Could we just bring some cowbells?
I think we could. I think we could. Just ring it when he hits the TD.
592 yards rushing. That is outstanding.
It's great. Tyron Dupree, a senior linebacker of this group, really stepped up when they needed it most. He had transfers leaving the program in a spot that did not have a ton of depth, and he comes in leading the tackles this year for LU. He's been great.
Yeah, the thing with Tyron Dupree is this, is that coming into the season, you thought to yourself, and he proved, I believe, in the first game, he had 2 interceptions, that he can can be very good in pass coverage, but how would he hold up against the run? He has really matured as the season's progressed as a run stopper. Like you said, leads the team in tackles.
Yeah, as Ron Burgundy would say, that is a live bear. He will literally rip your face off.
You said that just because of my coat. I know. I know. Well, hey, let's keep this conversation going. We mentioned Quentin Cooley moments ago, K-Salt, how well he's done this year. But one of the more underrated position groups so far for the Liberty Flame, Matt Warner has more.
Yeah, guys, we've heard the old cliche a million times. Games are won and lost in the trenches, and the Flames are 6-0 in no small part because of the play of their offensive line. Some of these numbers kind of tell the story. Take a look at what they've done. You know, a big part of playing O-line, keeping your quarterback clean. Liberty tied for the 19th fewest sacks allowed in the nation. Sure, you might be saying that's partly because of Kaden Salter, his escapability and athleticism, and there's certainly some truth to that. But the other stat that can be directly attributed to the big dudes up front is Liberty's second in the nation in rushing. And we've seen that really show up in the second half of ball games. The Flames like to really turn to the ground and pound and let those big fellas up front physically take over. Now, you'll remember early in this season, really before the season started, there was a lot of question marks about the O-line. Brendan Schlittler, one of the anchors on this offensive line, got hurt, may not play again the rest of this year. How would they respond? Well, offensive line coach Bill Durkin has really gotten this group to play well together. They moved Xavier Gatlin from tackle down to guard. He's made that move seamlessly. And it seems like week in, week out, this group is getting better and better. And if they are going to go 7-0 tonight, you have a feeling that offensive line is going to play a big factor.
Yeah, impressive to watch them so far this season, only allowing 7 sacks on the year. Well, hey, every sack is a sack to give back this season. Food Lion Feeds will donate 1,000 meals to a neighbor in need for each Liberty sack this season. So far, the Flames 12 sacks on the year for 68 yards lost. Make sure you stay with us. Much more to come when we return. William Byron joins the desk as Joe Yock fanboys all over him. I like it.
24 car.
I want to go fast.
Get your career started on the right track. Let Liberty University help you get on the road to success.
Welcome you back to Williams Stadium. Flames and Blue Raiders set to start at 7 p.m. on CBS Sports Network. Pleased to be joined now by William Byron. William, it's been 10 years since I've interviewed you, and I don't think you had that luscious beard back then, man. Good to see you again. Thanks for joining us here. You know, looking back, 25 years old now, if you could go back 10 years ago to a 15-year-old, what is one piece of advice you'd give your younger self?
Just to be a little bit more patient, I think. But yeah, I just it's definitely been a long road from where I was when I was 15, starting out racing cars, and I'm excited for the season we've had. We've had a great year.
Oh yeah.
So it's definitely in the crunch time of the year with the playoffs and everything, but I feel like we've got a good chance to go after a championship. So just got to get through the next couple weeks.
Yeah, for sure.
William, I think my question would be, what's it like racing with Ricky Bobby? No, but on a serious note, I'm always intrigued by the rigor of different athletes, professionally, college, whatever it is. The toughest things that they're going through. In terms of your training or in a race, what is the most difficult thing that you've either had to train for or had to kind of put up with?
Yeah, honestly, just in the race car, it's all about trying to stay focused, under all the intense adrenaline and the sights and the noise. So it's just really trying to keep that calm mindset, being able to focus on the right things and really feel the car. So that's what I focus on inside the race car, is just trying to feel all those things. But it's been a good year, and I think we've got a good couple tracks coming up.
William Byron in the 24 car for Liberty. Chevy 24 for Liberty University. You're my driver, William. I'm a NASCAR fan, and you are my driver. I cheer every Sunday night down at Nana and Papa's house. We have the dinner with the TV tables out, and we're eating, and we're cheering for you all the way.
I should have apologized before this started.
We got 6 wins this season, right? And
I like the we. Royal we going on here.
Hey, we're all in this thing together. I'll change a tire so fast I'll spin your hand. Ain't no messing around. Okay, well, your number, I may be your number 2 fan. Your number 1 fan is a buddy of mine named Ian Langford. Man, he loves you. So Ian wants to know. He wants to know this. If you're in that final race in Phoenix, right?
Yeah.
And we got to get you a championship. Your boy Kyle Larson is there.
Yeah.
Teammate Kyle Larson's there. We got to get you that championship. You're gonna win this thing, right? If you're coming down the home stretch of that final, and you got one driver that you don't want to be behind you on that last lap coming to that last turn, who would it be?
Oh, man.
Come on. I know it's you. I'll get this out of the way for you right now. You don't want it to be Ross Chastain, because he will wreck you right now. Forget that chump. I don't like him. I've never liked him. Forget him.
All right, Joe, let the man speak.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Honestly, I'm not scared of anyone out there.
You ain't scared of nobody.
I'm scared of anybody. None of them bother me.
Done. Who else?
No, I think, if we're leading the race, I'd love to be in that position.
Love it.
Coming to the last lap. So hopefully we are.
Love it. Love it.
Good stuff. All right, let's move on to our game picks now. And William, we're going to start with you. I like it. You're going Liberty 38, MTSU 17. You kind of got the feeling the Flames are going to come out hot tonight.
I do. I mean, they've had a great season so far. Been playing really well. I got a chance to meet Coach Chadwell earlier, so it's been great to watch their victory celebrations, and I've been keeping up with the game, so I feel like they're going to have a great night.
All right, good stuff. Pat?
Incredible minds think alike. I mean, we're very close in our predictions. I've got Liberty tonight 38-20.
Okay. Good stuff. Joe?
Yeah, I'll tell you what, I think this thing might be a little bit closer than what they think. I think that they have the opportunity to put some points on the board. It's going to be a tight one. Liberty kicks a field goal. They had a little field goal troubles lately, but they kick a field goal, win 31-28.
I like you. You're thinking another tight game down to the finish, Joe?
Yeah, I love it.
I like
Lots of points. Lots of points.
That's good stuff. All right, let's move now to our keys to the game. Stopping explosive plays is one of those for you, Joe.
Yeah, I think that's going to be a big part of this thing, is for MTSU to be able to, Liberty does such a good job of running the ball in between the tackles and then working the outside option game and then hitting you over the top. So they've got to be able to stop those downfield throws, especially in the second half.
As we look at video here, this is a Liberty team that is capable of explosive plays. Quentin Cooley has been able to break loose multiple times. And then, can you do the whistle for me, Joe? Because K-Salt's been bringing it low.
They play action you. They're right here. Where they play action you, and they go.
There you go. Yep.
Right over the top. Right over the top. See some great catches. But that's what Liberty's been all about. That's when you see in the second half they made the difference, is that they grind on you, grind up the middle, hit you on the edges a little bit, and then all of a sudden, once those DBs, those linebackers start coming up, they got the speed with C.J. Daniels, Smoot, down the field, Noah Frith is another. They have so many weapons to be able to go over the top on you.
All right, your next key, Joe, and I'll be honest, I'm laying in bed and I'm getting these texts from you like, here's my keys to the game, and you say, watch second half of Sam Houston State game. I'll explain later. Explain it to me now.
It's easy to explain, is that Liberty did not score. They didn't score in the second half against Sam Houston State. So you started looking what did Sam Houston State to stop Liberty's offense. You got to win with your down 4. That's a bottom line. You've got to be disruptive on the inside with your down 4. If your linebackers have to get involved on the inside run, they're not there to protect the perimeter. Once they can't protect the perimeter, then Liberty can do whatever they want to do. So if you can win with your front 4, like Sam Houston State did, and free your linebackers up, you can stop a lot of different things. So they need to watch that film and watch it closely.
All right, and finally, third key, you want to see their boys, Willis and Metcalf, get the ball in their hands.
Yeah, they got to spread it around those guys. I mean, you look at their numbers. I know we've touched on this already, but you look at their numbers, and if they're able to spread it around to those two guys and keep them involved in the offense, they're going to have the opportunity to score enough points. And I think that you look at if MTSU wants to win this game, when they score 30 or more points, they're 84-14. So I think that is their magic numbers. That they got to get to 30 to give themselves a high percentage chance to win the game.
All right, Pat, as we move on to Liberty, pressuring perimeter plays is big in your mind.
Yeah, I think this is going to be big for Liberty today. For the season so far, Middle Tennessee State has struggled sometimes on the edge in tackling. We saw Jacksonville State, we saw Louisiana Tech making plays, quick screens out there, making guys miss. I think there's tremendous opportunity there. And then to take that a step further, taking shots down the field. Middle Tennessee State is 124th out of 130 teams in the country in long pass plays allowed. They've given up 10 catches this year for over 30 yards and seven catches for over 40 yards. So I think there will be opportunity on the edge tonight. That's my first key.
And then for Liberty, controlling the chaos.
Yeah, so I think that Liberty is going to be able to get after this quarterback. Jacksonville State was able to get home or was able to sack the quarterback with 3- and 4-man pressures. I think there will be opportunity for Liberty to do the same. With that being said, they have to be controlled because as we mentioned earlier in the segment, Nicky V, he can escape, he can get out of there, he can extend plays with his legs, whether he's running the ball or keeping his eyes downfield and throwing, finding those open receivers. So when Liberty does bring pressure, they have to keep contained. They've got to keep him in the pocket and bring him down that way. So that's my key number 2.
And lastly, protecting the football for LU.
Yeah, this one's simple. I mean, Middle Tennessee State is a team that's going to give you the ball. They're 118th in the country in turnovers this season. Liberty tends to take care of the ball pretty well. Take care of the rock, score when you're in the red zone, and I think things are going to be okay.
All right, good stuff. Well, hey, again, that game coming up at 7 p.m. Joe, have you come down off the rush of meeting William Byron?
I mean, that was awesome. He's going to bring home the bacon.
I saw him sitting here, and I saw your eyes. I looked into your eyes, and I was like, we're about to see something right now.
You stared into my soul, didn't you, Remington?
I just saw 2 flames just flickering
I just
in the
love
eyeballs.
when those cars go by.
Feel those cars.
Gotta love it. Well, hey, everybody out there, make sure you tune in post-game. We'll be right back here on Liberty social media, breaking things down. Blue Raiders and Flames, top of the hour on CBS Sports Network. Liberty looking to remain undefeated in Conference USA play.